Good morning, and this is the last one of these we're going to do before Thanksgiving. So, for those of us here in the States, that matters to us. For everyone else, we're just going to be really lazy next week. How is everyone? Anybody have any questions that are top of mind? Anything that is like, oh my God, this is broken, please fix it? Or man, it'd be nice if we had a button that did that. Where's everybody standing today?
I
I
would
want to
have
thank
to
you all for
ask
showing
my
up. We'll see
advisor.
you later. Oh,
I
sorry,
would
go
have
ahead.
to ask my advisor, Ben, if he has any complaints about your service.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Ben. Ben, if he actually wakes up.
Speaking through a third party, Enrique. I see you.
Yeah, well,
Enrique, you
he's
don't
res
have anything?
I do.
I thought so. Go.
Well, wait.
Do
Got
go
another
on.
broken API this morning. So I got a ticket from SaaS, managed SaaS. So I was
Are
awake, so
you
worked on it.
are you using our API to pull data down, or are you pushing things into the platform via API?
No, it was a respond. Every now and then we get a broken connection and respond. Uh,
Ah,
I
so
had
if
yeah,
one
one
of
of your
those this
clients,
weekend.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely bubble those up, guys, because I have seen those as well. They seem to be just scattershot. There doesn't seem to be a pattern there. But squeaky wheel that stuff. Don't just reconnect it, and yell at my support guys because if there's something that's consistently breaking, I want to identify it. If it's a one-off, it's just like, oh, we don't like Enrique this week, then I'm okay with
Fact.
that. But
Yep, me too. Sounds good.
So the only one, I don't know if you remember a while back, well, over a month ago, that I got off. For some reason, my MFA got messed up and I reset it, my MFA, and that broke a whole bunch of connections at that time. I don't know if it was related or not. There was just a good bunch of them. And then sporadically, I've been getting after that, like one or two here or there. Now, I imagine Managed SaaS opened a ticket and I got their auto test ticket. So I imagine they reported to you guys.
mm, I have visibility of tickets. I don't monitor them with
But what
diligence.
the managed band, will they send open tickets in that case, or do we have to open it?
That's a great question. I wish Ben was here so we get some perspective on that. I don't know, Enrique, to be quite
Okay.
honest. I know Ben is very proactive about everything he does, so it really surprised me if he isn't on top of that and keeping himself connected to those tickets. But we'll as one of my takeaways, I'll try to find out exactly where we are with that. Um, Speaking of API, any other questions about broken APIs? Anybody else have anything else on APIs breaking as far as respond? Okay, thanks. Um, there are going to be some changes coming to the API. Does anybody on this call use anything on your side to push things back via API into the SaaS Alerts platform?
I
It's a
guess through
very
Roost.
If you're using Roost, yeah, are you?
Using Roost, I haven't configured anything with you guys, but that triggered that. I mean, it's set up, but I haven't seen if there's any flows or crates for you guys.
Yeah, no, there. If you're doing any puts back into our system, there may be some changes coming forward. I know they're rebuilding some of the APIs to upgrade our interoperability, and that's. I think Dev said they identified about 5 partners that are utilizing that sporadically. So I didn't anticipate there be anybody on this call, but just kind of be aware of that. There are going to be some changes coming. So if your teams are building out anything in Roost or directly via BI or anything like that to push back into the platform, there are a couple of changes coming that are going to be for the best, but they might change some of your processes. Oops. I'm going to have to make sure and get Logan promoted to somebody who can keep adding people that I miss. So, okay, thanks for that feedback, Enrique. We'll talk to Ben about that and see what his process looks like. Anybody else have any questions? Anything top of mind?
Right now, we're
Logan.
still with on the last Thursday's call, they mentioned something that like Respond was working with everything. Now, Does that include data RMM?
I'd have to look at the interface. I don't know, Enrique. That's a very fair question. What
Okay.
Enrique is referring to, if anybody else hasn't seen it, is we have now exposed a bunch of other applications, pretty much everything in the stack that is triggerable for they can generate a triggering alert. Like if you log into Duo from Uzbekistan, then we can alert on that. Those APIs are not robust in a way that we could push changes back in, like logging people out the way we can do in Google and Microsoft.
Prior, it was just Microsoft and Google. The other apps we've added here recently are Dropbox, Okta, Slack, Duo, Hudo, and Salesforce. So not Datto RMM just yet, Enrique.
Okay, Ninja.
No, a Dropbox, Okta, yeah. No MSP tool yet.
Okay.
Thanks for the clarity, Logan.
Yep, Dropbox, Okta, Slack, Duo, Hudo, and Salesforce for the second time.
You just need to hold up the list, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that, Logan? Just kidding.
Well, it's like Gary Pica said, sometimes with clients, you tell them something 100 times. Expect to tell them 101, 102, 103. So if you're in that box, Enrique, if you're in that box, then I expect that. We're always happy to have that conversation. Other than that, Logan, I don't think we've got anything coming down the pipe that isn't already been made public on the Thursday call or anything else. I don't think we actually have a heck of a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, I last week was at the CMIT North Carolina event in Charlotte. I'm not sure if any of you all were there, but it was a great time. Had some great conversations. Yeah, with that, I don't have much to add as well.
I appreciate that, Logan. Yeah, no, it's coming to the end of trade show season. I think everybody's tired of flying through snow and all of that, and having their airlines go bankrupt in mid-flight.
Yeah, yeah, no, they'd rather be skiing down snow, probably like Enrique's doing there outside of the Arctic.
Indeed,
You
indeed.
know, I've been here got here Sunday the 10th, and I've only skied twice. Hopefully today, I actually was going to plan after a call I have at noon to take off, go skiing, and somebody booked me at 2:30, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh no.
Hey,
Uh,
Enrique, could you share your booking link for us?
Yeah.
No, don't go to
Let's
my
put a
email
letter
because
post
it's
out
on there.
there. Yeah.
Now they screwed up, I think, and it's a prospect, so I cannot ditch that one.
Yeah, they're that revenue stream we all have to keep an eye on. So
The only
Ben, thank you for joining us from the bridge.
The
in
command.
your band.
Long and prosper.
I'm sorry, Enrique, I think I cut you off. You were about to say something. Gone out of my brain too.
Yeah, no. We'll let Ben go. He'll trigger thoughts and memories here.
I don't
And we were
know.
just talking
Kind of a
about
vacuum today.
we were talking a little bit about the possible pending changes to puts in the API. We were talking about how do you handle tickets on the managed side if you see, for instance, say if you see a broken connection with someone's respond. We've seen that happen on occasion. Do you guys open a ticket? Do you wait for the partner to open a ticket? How does that look? What does that process look like?
Well, you look for that API connection failed ticket, come in, and that alerts us and says,
So,
hey, this has failed. And it tells the partner how to reconnect, that sort of thing. I think with one MSP with Enrique, we set up, I think we had to set up a respond rule to trigger off of that. If it happens
oh,
multiple times,
so I got a managed SaaS alert ticket about 3 in the morning. But I'm checking my text messages. Right now, you mentioned respond. I did not get a text message.
I don't know if we set that up or not. Let's look.
I think no, ignore me.
Never,
I'm
I'm
afraid.
never ignoring you, Enrique. Sorry.
For
I
anyone
did it.
who's not familiar, there are some alerts you cannot turn from critical or medium down to low, and that's actually one of them. And it's a compliance thing or a decision thing. I'm pretty sure it's a compliance thing. There are some things you just simply cannot turn down. You're always going to get alerts on that. So if we lose connection or whatever reason from any of the modules, you get a hard alert on that. It's kind of funny that Enrique was talking about that, and one of my sales guys was asking about that this morning. So it's like the great unconscious of humanity was all thinking about this at once.
You know what gets me? To me, a lot of people that I hear when they hear me complaining because it's broken, they don't understand the significance of it. And to me, it's like your EDR, MDR, and SOC going offline. Now your antivirus is useless. And that to me is Respond is dead. SaaS alerts is dead, and my whole layer of protection on 365, even though I got a call at 4 a.m. from Rocket Cyber because a new help desk account logged in from India successfully. I was awake, but I'm like, okay, let's whitelist them. But yeah, to me, Respond, that's why I want text messages whenever the API breaks, because now my customers are unprotected. And last I want them is to come and sue me because someone broke in and we didn't have a respond.
Sure. Makes perfect sense.
And you've got a little bit more of a meta view than I do. Do a lot of our partners have texting set up or, that sort of instant communication, or, are they leveraging the the SaaS Alerts app, or do you have any visibility, any metrics on that?
Are they doing text messages? No, not that I'm aware of. I don't have like visibility
Not a lot
over
of them.
that.
I do both
Oh yeah.
because I'm paranoid.
Welcome to the club.
Yep,
Thank you,
it's
Tina.
fantastic. I just got a whole bunch right now.
Well, except when we discover a bug and I want to kill myself and everyone else around
Hell
me,
yeah.
right, Ben?
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is now turning into an
There's no bugs in our
mental health
system.
discussion.
There's never been a bug.
But on the topic of mental health, I mean, it really comes down to your level of paranoia. If it, if this is the activity that you do want to be pinged on over, text message, sure. But for most people, I think just having a ticket created, where the only interesting events are showing up from SaaS alerts inside PSA, would be where it is.
Yeah, but maybe I don't think they might not understand the significance of an API and Respond broken to Microsoft. Because that to me, SaaS Alerts is amazing with everything it has around it. But to me, if you remove Respond from SaaS Alerts, I don't need SaaS Alerts.
Right.
I'm not trying to undermine the whole
No.
ecosystem, which is amazing, but Respond is like Rocket Cyber calling me at 4 a.m. and acting upon it. I don't need anyone to call.
Yeah.
It's got its own brain and its own little finger to click and disable. So that to me is my core. So if that happens, and I mean, how many times is it going to happen? It really shouldn't happen. So having it to alert you every which way, I think is the route to go. That might
Absolutely.
even be a default practice for managed SaaS.
Yeah, and Ben, that's what we were kind of talking about at the top of the hour while you were hung up on that other call, was that I sort of counsel these guys, if you see that happening, if we get an API disconnect, yeah, of course you're going to know about it, you're going to fix it, but please bubble that up, because if there's anything consistently happening, we need to know about it. And as proactive as we can be, our friends here on this call are still, you're the canaries in the coal mine. So,
Oh, that's what we were going to ask. Like this broken API connection from this morning that we had, Ben, I got the ticket for managed SaaS. Do you guys report that to SaaS Alerts support? Because Anthony was mentioning to be sure we let you guys support know when something breaks.
I don't think so, because most of the time it's a token that needs to be reestablished. And there's not anything that they can do other than provide you the same information that we do as far as how to reestablish it. If you go under our platform, if there is a broken connection and you go under connections, there's a little black eye underneath that box where you reconnect that will tell you exactly when it broke and why did it break? Was it that there's a policy in place that says, kill tokens after 90 days, or is there one where it's like I reset my password regularly and my tokens get flushed? So it could be any of those that cause that.
Thank you for that, Ben. That's another part of the platform I didn't know existed.
Yeah, we ran into it today because I had somebody tell me, hey, our stuff, we never change our passwords and the tokens are broken. And I was able to show them when the token was created and when it broke and like why it broke is because the token expired. And it doesn't tell me who changed the password or what it was changed to, or it just says, hey, the token's expired. And I think it must be a setting somewhere in Microsoft that is customizable because it doesn't happen to everybody.
Right. And do we have something in Fortify that is there an alert someplace that actually gives you a countdown to let you know, hey, your token is going to expire on this date, 7 days from now, or
There
something like
was
that?
something like that, wasn't
Yeah.
there?
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm
I
almost certain
think,
there was, and it was supposed to give you like, hey, your token's going to expire in 7 days, and then
yeah,
24 hours later, your token's going to expire in 6 days.
I'm pretty sure there is. I don't know. Logan, do you remember something like that, don't you?
I don't actually.
It should be there.
It sounds like it would be very helpful, but
It sounds very
since I've
familiar.
joined,
Um,
I
yeah, that's something I know that our friend Jason was digging into, was trying to make that as visible as possible, just to be proactive for exactly what we're talking about there. So there's the answer, gentlemen and ladies. If you're seeing a disconnect, dig into it, find out why it disconnected, and if you're not clearly seeing why it disconnected, then definitely bubble that up and let us know. Because either we need to educate you better, or we need to figure out why it was breaking and not providing proper feedback about why it was breaking. So Enrique, thanks for bringing that up.
My pleasure. Now I need to remember what I had. There was something else. Oh, something that I have pending. I brought up on Thursday, and Adam and Ben, I need to schedule a call with Ben, but turns out one of my tools that I've had for a long time actually prevents the evil Gen X.
Hmm.
So now I have to go try that. Let me share the video. DefenseX has it. They've had it for a while. I'm like, guys, you need to do a better job on selling this.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about that compartmentalization, or
That
yeah,
was with
however that
Tradeware,
worked.
correct. They have a browser plugin to have it containerized. And if that container doesn't exist, they will not allow you to insert it. But I just put a video of DefenseX here on the chat.
So what does it have?
So which one, Tradeware or DefenseX?
A defense axe.
It's easier to see the video than me trying to explain.
Oh, okay.
I've,
Let's
I've
do
heard
this side by
I've heard
side.
I've heard Enrique explain technical things. Just go watch the video, Ben.
Is this a phishing link?
This is the evil Gen X. Oh, what, the YouTube that I shared or the video?
Phishing link? Perfect. I'm just gonna go to it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You put your bank account in there
Yep.
and you'll get the video.
I'll put my social in there too, just in case.
They have an extension you load. Okay.
Well, DefenseX by default is agent and extension.
Hmm.
The DefenseX started as web browser protection, and then they added DNS to it because they had the agent. Yeah, it's pretty neat the way it works.
Oh, yeah. This is similar to the to that open source project that inserts CSS code into your custom login page and reaches out and tells it, hey, this is not coming from Microsoft.
Is that what zip does?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've never been able to find the help file how to configure that in zip.
Yeah, it's effective if you're going on the assumption that the software doesn't look for that code and filter it out.
Yeah, correct. It's an extra layer for not all the
Yes.
phishing sites, but for some of them.
Yeah, and there's the biggest issue that I'm seeing is that Evil Jinx is, or Genex or whatever we want to call it, is old. It hasn't been updated in a while. If you check their GitHub, it's been, let's see, I wanted to say like going on a year, or so what, 8 months, 9 months. So I think they're intentionally not updating it. So people can't use it. It still works, but I think there's much more sophisticated ones out there that that the bad guys are using that we just don't have access to.
And I asked DefenseX, I go, okay, this is for Evil Jinx. Or what happens if there's Evil Jinx 2.0? And
Yeah,
they said they should be able to catch it, but until they see it, they won't know.
yeah,
And this is a funny story. The way DefenseX originally caught it, they stopped a bank wire authorization for $5 million.
Just gone low rent and done it for like $500, you know?
Yeah, it's a
yeah. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I know what it's looking for. I mean, it's obviously it's not very. I don't think it's super complicated. It's looking for like sign in code and trying to go to a website that's not, one that's
the
run by
official.
Microsoft. Yeah. I
Correct.
mean, yeah. I know when I know, I think when we start getting the device information from Entra, we'll be able to, that will help too. Another one of our partners, Buddy over at Logically, we were experimenting with Microsoft's token protection. But we kind of felt that it seemed like it was more like someone stole the token off of the computer and not through a web browser. But you could enable, what is it, only allow, was it authenticated devices? And
Managed
yeah,
devices.
managed device. There you go. Thank you. And that was actually really, really efficient and effective. But not too many people can pull that off.
Well,
Unless you're
managed
doing company
devices,
only.
yeah, managed device is not that complicated.
No,
Because
it's not
anytime they
just.
register,
Hmm.
it could be
Is it just,
considered.
is it impactful to the end user? Does that make
Oh
their
yeah,
extra step?
definitely.
Yeah.
Like any sort of home devices, unless you have registered that with your company's Entra, are not getting in. But that's not hard to do either, right? I mean, like I think even if you just install Office and let it add its little stuff to your
Correct.
machine, but people are with home devices. They don't want anything company related on them. I can't blame them. I don't either. I run my entire work off a virtual machine that runs on my computer. But sometimes you just have to put your foot down if you can.
Rich says
That is,
we're each in our own preferred vehicle of travel. I'm going to swap mine with Ben's. I think I could go faster and farther.
I forget where you were that much sooner. Where is
Just
I?
just have Ben 3D print you one.
Yeah, that's true.
I got I got my P1S going right now. I just started printing a little while ago.
I need to find things to print. I did find a really cool DeLorean I want to print, but that's a whole
Oh,
other topic.
the multicolor one.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I saw that. Yeah, that's definitely on my board. I got about 200 models I want to print.
Um,
I'm doing all Christmas stuff right now.
Wow.
nice.
We'll get together on Discord because we have a Discord. I don't know if anyone knew that, but we have a Discord.
Discord's a lie.
There are some jokes that are just never stop being funny.
Never.
Never. Alrighty, so the show and tell at the next one, everybody bring your 3D printed models. What I'm looking for is
Here you go, you
imagine
like
like
this.
Venetian blinds
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice,
It's a
Ben.
glasses holder.
Yes, because
It's called
I
Sir.
can't.
Yeah.
His name is Sir Nigel Squintsworth, and that's what I printed out.
I
So
I printed a Lego cup that I put my monster in, or
there you go.
yeah, you know the enlarged Lego models. Yeah, it's just
Mhm.
just a little brick cup, and it's amazing. I love that thing.
We
Oh,
have
goodness.
bridge cameras and speed cameras and everything else around here. And a buddy of mine printed, imagine blinds, like Venetian blinds, as a license plate so that from behind you can see it, but from above, the slats don't allow the cameras to be able to see it. So if
Very
anybody's looking
cool.
for a
That's
project that's
clever
sort of, yeah, it was well done. And then he chromed it for some reason. So I don't know what he's thinking about there, but
because
um,
Chrome.
Yeah.
he rides a cruiser. So what are you gonna do? Gentlemen, any case, I definitely want to see some of those projects before the end of Christmas. We got a couple of meetings left coming up. Um, our normal office hours will happen again in 2 weeks. Of
Mm,
course, we won't be here next week, and neither will our this Thursday. Of course, we'll be here for our Thursday meeting. But Thanksgiving is happening in North America, well, in the United States next week, so there won't be a Thursday meeting. So there will be no meetings with SaaS Alerts next week.
mm,
Yes.
Wow.
None, not
Yeah.
even like Thursday
mm.
or
What's Enrique
Thanksgiving
gonna
meal
do?
together. Exactly.
Exactly. Enrique, I'll be here.
Well, we'll get one going.
Yeah.
Can you guys please share my team links through SaaS Alerts invitation? We'll have our own
Put them
private
on
SaaS
LinkedIn.
alert. Yeah.
Probably
In
rather
lieu
spend time with
of,
this crew than my family. So there it is.
Hmm.
hey, we're going
Um,
on a record for the shortest. Anthony wants to make it the shortest office
I,
hours.
I enjoy chatting with you all, and I just think that out of respect to people who actually, have to pay these bills, I think we should say, is there anything else SaaS Alerts related
And
That's
Ben, do
or
we
fair.
have
Kaseya
anything
related?
else
Ben,
for
is there
SaaS
anything
Alerts?
else?
I'm at a lack of for words today,
Uh-oh.
which is bad because I have a couple meetings I have to go to.
Okay, let's start some
No,
focus
it's
therapy
honestly
here.
yeah, it's been like um business as usual for us. We're basically just dealing with events that come in and onboarding more people. So it's yeah, we're really trying for those managed SaaS alerts companies. We're really starting to try to hit Fortify hard, but we realized it is a huge project and is almost should be considered a separate offering if you ask me,
It is a
because
beast.
yeah, it is. It's like I worked on yesterday, like this isn't like the entire day, right? Minus my lunchtime. It was like I think I did maybe 4 or 5 partners, and I made great impacts on their scores, but it is like huge. So
I
It's a
still read those
about
email
20 some left.
responses.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty drastic. So, but yeah, I
Mm,
mean, it's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
absolutely.
Thankfully,
on
everybody's been super patient.
the lack of data, I see a lot of alerts with no IP address. It says
Mhm.
bad IP, unknown or
Unknown IP.
bad known IP, and then there's no IP. So my customers, the co-manager, are like, okay, great. So what IP is it? And I'm like, well,
I think they're still working on that session ID with Unify, but it's really just a lack of either if it's Microsoft, then it could be a couple of things. It could be that sometimes Microsoft, when OneDrive is doing its thing, it will show you an internal IP address. I don't know why. There are forums out there of people asking Microsoft why it's reporting this like they are, and no response from Microsoft, obviously. And or it could be incomplete device data. And that's typically because the event didn't contain an IP address, it contained a session ID, and that session ID refers back to the initial authentication. So they expect you to follow the breadcrumbs, of which I believe we're working on doing.
okay.
So,
Propagate
So
that
that should
data
probably
down the
but yeah, basically Microsoft goes, oh, we pay per line of code apparently, so I'm not going to give you the same information I've already given you, which is kind of crummy. But we did
but
find that
that's
most of them have session IDs that refer back to that.
That should solve a lot of them.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of events that should have IP addresses that just don't because MS just doesn't give them to us. But I think they'll be really effective. I think I don't know if it's part of the unify Entra thing, but I know that's a piece to that puzzle. Yeah.
It's good
There
to know.
was
Thanks for
some
that, Ben.
Yeah, Adam and I worked on it. I kind of wrote up a whole thing and explaining why we needed that, and I think him and Leron both are excited about putting it in there because
Excellent.
the more events that we can correlate back to a device, the better.
100%. And if anybody isn't familiar, when things happen internal to our processes, like respond triggers a respond action and that's approved, you won't see an IP in there. It will say, was it IP not identified or something like that because it's an internal process. It's process to process. It's not machine to machine. And we've asked Dev to better identify those so you're not left wondering. But for now, that's the representation you're going to see for internal processes. Enrique, did you remember that last thing you were going to remember 10 minutes ago that you forgot to remember?
I think it was the Defense X one when Ben came on that I was going to say that for the Evil Jinx. I think that was it.
Is that a service or something? Or are they just like giving that away or?
Defense X.
Mm,
So Defense X, I added it to all our users for free. They
okay.
came out with a classic DNS for 25 cents. And that gives you a lot of capabilities. For the Evil Gen X, that's under the password protection. So like they're checking password hashes, they're
Mhm.
warning you about sites, telling you if it's a new site you've never been to. But on their core, which is the first paid level, that's where password protection comes in. And that's what stops this Evil Gen X. And our goal is to offer, now that we have this video, now we can go tell everyone. Okay. And what we do is we just block bad known sites, things like that. We don't give the customer because then they've asked us, well, can we block this, that, and the other? Yeah, you can if you upgrade. We're giving you this for a security purpose for the basic stuff, but if you upgrade, we'll give you. I mean, you have full control and you can do anything you want.
So is that kind of like we used to run WatchGuard, they would by default they would block domains of a certain age or whatever. So unless they were like at least like
Arc
90, 100.
domains,
Yeah.
domains by age. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
DNS filters, auras, umbrella. There, but they started the opposite. They started with web browser protection.
I wonder if Kaseya's DNS filter that they're giving away does that. I don't even know what its name is.
That comes in December, and that is actually the Avera. So if you go
Avera?
into Avera, that's their API or their SDK for antivirus is Avera, same as Avast,
Okay.
same company. So it's a good engine, Avera, and they're basic. If you go look at the Avera website, you're going to see they have a premium offering with DNS filter. If you ever used Avast, equates to the same.
Mhm.
Same
Huh.
engine, same everything. So that's what they're adding because they're using Avera SDK for data AV.
That's cool.
So it's going to do
Yeah,
something similar as far as DNS protection. And I don't think I don't know if it's going to be DNS filtering or just web filtering or both.
I mean, because honestly, that's
You're on
Hey,
mute.
Jake.
yeah. I was like, that's really what you need is just something to block new domains.
Yeah, but sometimes you run into domains that are not new.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a great layer to have. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we added the Defense X one.
Yeah.
25 cents. We said we'll just pitch it in and be an upsell. Now
All
with
right,
this
so
Evil Jinx video, we'll upsell.
we've got a product specialist on the line. Jake, you're going to have to go do some rundown, do some homework on that, and let us know what we can
Mhm.
expect in December.
Yeah, I'll have to do some research.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Um, Eric asked, "Is anybody have any issues with Fortify timing out when you go to actions?" Um, Eric, help me understand. Are you saying the platform, the GUI is timing out, or the actions themselves are not being applied?
The platform itself. And it's
Okay.
so I've opened a ticket for this in the past and it got a little better and now it seems to be cropping up again. Because if I go to say I go to the ongoing tab in Fortify and then instead of all I switch it to just one company or a couple of companies and then go to actions, it loads right away and lists all the actions for those companies. But by default, when you click on actions, it's trying to load the actions for all the companies,
The entire stack, yeah.
and it's just timing out and taking too long. And it pops up and says wait or exit page. And if you click on wait a few times, it eventually does load. So it appears to be just a performance number of actions. Maybe I just need to apply a bunch of actions so that they're not on that tab anymore, and then it'll be better. But
That's all I want to do is just, and if you were to like preload the search, if you like were searching for a specific action, does that improve the response time or cancel the timeout? Like if you're only looking for a single
yes,
condition
yeah, but you can't search until it
until it,
loads the entire list the first time. So
excellent. That sounds, Ben, that sounds a lot like in Fortify, we've asked to be able to pre-filter on some things to be able to get that 30,000 limit down.
Hmm.
So we'll have to, I'll go follow up. Thanks for bubbling that up, Eric. We'll go talk about that because not everyone has as many clients as Eric does. So, you know, you're your own, you're your own special snowflake there.
How many
Actually,
thousands do you have? How many thousands of actions did you have, Eric?
I don't know. I'd have to.
300 actions times how many, you know, clients? That's the real answer, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've been working with it yesterday. It was mostly slow because of my browser, but I was pulling up like 4,000 and 5,000 actions.
I just started reloading it here. We'll see what it says in a few minutes. Another thing, a little quirk that I found today too, is in Fortify, when it says uh, multi-factor authentication is enabled for all administrative roles in Fortify, but then I go to the reports to do the MFA report and search for admin and filter it by admins, and they all show they have MFA enabled. So I think that must just be what's an admin is.
There's a fun story on that MFA report. So it will basically show you if it is enabled but not enforced. And that's because the way Microsoft reports it back to us. There's a KB about that. So you get like with security defaults, the way it is now, and I know I think they're going to change it, but the way it is now is when you have security defaults enabled, it will basically, it's the same as with the legacy MFA. If it was enabled, sure, that's fine. It's enabled. You can use it, but it's not enforced. Same thing with security defaults, not enforced, which is, I think, really crappy. But I think I saw an article about them changing the way that operates. I don't know if that applies to you.
So the way to see that then would be to actually go into the tenancy and check if it's enforced.
Well, I guess assuming you can get to the legacy, I mean, I thought they're kind of phasing that out. But yeah, the only way that we kind of really truly know that it's enforced is like with a conditional access policy or something. And that is assuming they're not running defaults.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into that some more.
Yeah, it's something that I thought was really crummy too that I ran across when we was working with another partner, and they were like, "We have security defaults enabled." And I was like, "Well, that should be enough." And then I was like, "Oh, that's just enabled, not enforced." It's like that's hilariously fun.
And have you seen anything that turns off security defaults? I mean, isn't there's like some once you start to apply some conditional access policies, it just sort of nukes that?
You have to turn off security defaults and then I think enable conditional access, but that also requires you to have like at least like a P1 or something.
Exactly. And I thought I saw a partner that was trying to identify which one of his engineers had turned off security defaults. And it turns out that they had the proper licensing, security defaults were on. They applied some conditional access policies, and Microsoft turned off security defaults automatically, which I thought was really fun. Um, but I wondered if anybody else had seen that, or if that was something unique to their deployment.
Well, it might have been because Microsoft started putting in some default conditional access policies. I wonder if it's part of that.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you haven't seen that a bunch, then that might have been a one-off. But yeah, I would say keep an eye out for that because the partner was quite surprised. He goes like, "Hold it, which one of my guys turned off, security defaults?" He was kind of wound up about that, understandably. I was like, "No, that was Microsoft, as it turns out."
The security
Isn't that
defaults, if you put conditional access policies, they'll turn off by default.
That's the answer. So now we've seen that twice.
well, isn't that best practice to do that anyway?
It is.
Yes, but once you put a conditional access policy in place and enforce it, that option to
It
turn on and
turns
off
off.
disappears.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say you can have a report only or off, but as soon as you put on a cap, yeah, it'll automatically turn off security defaults.
Interesting.
And I know because I'm working on configuring this customer. We moved from GoDaddy to Microsoft this morning, and there's a lot of limitations when it was in GoDaddy that we couldn't do. So now I'm going section by section, just configuring everything, making sure it's correctly configured to Enrique's best practices.
Nice. Enrique defaults.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, I want to see that template, Enrique. I want you to share that in Fortify. This is
I have 3
Enrique's
different
standard.
systems with templates and I just don't trust them. I don't know why. I want to go section by section, line by line.
It's because you're paranoid like the rest of us.
Properly
I think I
paranoid.
don't, I think the template is going to mess something up.
Yep.
So my actions finally loaded, and it's 13,000,
Oh my god.
just over 13,000 actions. So
So that's the
Oh.
number. That's the number. It's 13,000. So it's somewhere between 5,000 is okay, and 13,000 is not as responsive as we might like.
You have
Yeah.
13,000 actions and respond?
in
Or
Fortify,
For all of his clients.
dang.
Yeah.
Ben, how many do we have? 3?
I don't know, man. They add up. What's funny, it's like it also fluctuates, which is really cool. So it's like, I mean, I'll be like working with one client, I'll see like they have like 200 possible controls, and then it's like, oh, there's another one that has like 20 or 30 or 40. So yeah,
It's basically licensing or
straight from
things that have
Microsoft.
already been turned on.
Oh, well, funny story. I think Aaron was telling me this. Like he was working with his company. He was doing some of these trials, right? So he would enable a trial for like P2 or something, and he would see what kind of security things they could apply. But then his trial expired. But all the security controls that Microsoft wanted you to apply are still there, and the weight was the same, but you couldn't apply them because you no longer had the licensing. It's just you were never going to get those points anymore.
It's
So
funny. It's
yeah.
like putting that carrot out there in front of the donkey on the stick, It's like, yeah,
It's like
this
beating the
too could be
donkey with the
yours.
carrot and the stick.
This too could be yours.
There's a I was an Score equation article that I sent you and Anthony that would be a fun read for anybody that ever questions Microsoft's theories. So let's see if I
Please
can find it.
remind me of that because that does come up. If you guys haven't sort of seen that, if you have Office basic licensing, yes, you can get 100% because you can only turn like 5 controls on. And then if you end up with, E3, you'll never make it to 100% because there's 400 things you need to turn on and nobody ever does. So when is 100% 100%? It's not a hard number. And that's a challenge on the marketing side and the account management side. So
I'll have to post that on Discord. I can never find it when I'm looking for it. Oh yeah, Microsoft Math. That's exactly right.
Girl math, we have Vado math, we have Microsoft math. I can't even do math anymore. Guys, thank you. This has been a good conversation. And I always threaten to close these calls down, and then we end up having people just pop up. So I genuinely want to say thank you for that.
Let me log
too.
out and
Anything
log
else?
in. You're accompanying me through this journey of configuring this tenant.
Oh yeah, here
You're
it is.
inspiring me.
That's
There you go. If you guys are interested in some, you scroll about halfway down and you'll see the equation for it. It's a fun read.
Totally bookmarking that. Thank you, Ben. So was that the parting shot? Does anybody else have anything on their mind, or was that the last thing we're going to talk about for the next 10 minutes?
Happy Thanksgiving, guys, because we won't see you on
Yay.
this call.
Absolutely.
this call.
Absolutely.
We'll see you on Enrique's call.
Yeah. Turkey and ham.
Yep.
Yeah, there we are.
We're doing it this
everyone.
weekend.
Yeah. So is everybody actually cooking their own turkey, or are you going to Boston Market or your local grocery store and getting a turkey? I mean, that's the real
Heavenly
question
ham.
here.
Father-in-law's.
Ham. Father-in-law's, yeah. I want somebody else to deep fry their turkey and
Yeah,
light their house on fire.
he is going to be deep frying, but he's safe. He puts the deep fryer outside about 50 feet from a building, so safe guy.
David,
And your kitchen's fine.
live stream it no matter what. Yeah.
If
Just
it
in
bubbles
case.
over, just spray it with a hose.
That's a great idea.
And
I was
film.
thinking about putting some AA batteries in there just for good measure.
Yeah.
The extra
Please.
flavor.
Delicious.
I wonder if they banned it in New Jersey because of the drought being so bad. They don't want any sort of possible fires in any wooded areas at all.
They just need to ban New Jersey.
Well, I got to be honest with you guys. I was watching the news last night. They're like, "Oh, this is horrible fire on Long Island. It's 21 acres," and I'm out here in California, guys, and it's like we don't even notice 21 acres. Like when it gets to
No.
21,000
You
acres,
guys are
we better go.
constantly on fire out there.
Yeah, we got to. 21,000 acres is like equal to 2 firemen, and that's kind of the equation.
Mhm.
21 acres.
I lived out there for a couple of years. Yeah, it was just there's a fire when you're like, huh, I can't see that mountain anymore.
Yeah.
Wonder what that. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Fire.
How do you guys have any trees left to burn?
It's beautiful weather, beautiful soil. Everything grows here. It's like all the lettuce you'll be eating for the next 6 or 8 months all came from right here. This is the golden age, man. This is the gilded part of the country. Gentlemen, I wish all of you a fantastic holiday with your families, and I really genuinely look forward to talking to everybody here again in a couple of weeks.
Be safe,
Y'all take
guys.
care now.
You too. Bye, guys.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everyone.